We're looking forward to our time together on Agents of Hope. We have a couple of interviews to share with you today, starting with a couple that's passionate about reconciliation and have created a film series to highlight that. They're also parents and they enjoy adventures, fun, and building community. We look forward to introducing you to Brad and DeeAnna Dennis. Our next guest works a full-time job as a clinical pharmacist in an inner-city hospital, but also devotes the rest of his time to his various projects in the community. Ken Forgach is a true agent of hope with a passion for bringing joy to people. And it's our hope that as we wrap our time together today, we can speak a bit about what the Bible has to share on the topic of reconciliation. Sam and I hope today that following our time together, you'll be inspired to go out and make a difference. So it's great to have you back with us, Sam. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Michelle. Thanks so much for having me. We want to say that if there's one thing that we hope you hold on to today, it's this. You matter. Your prayers, your generosity, your presence, they're not just appreciated, they're essential. This doesn't move forward without you. Hope Channel Canada isn't just what we do, it's who we are together. It's your story as much as ours, a story of everyday people answering God's call in extraordinary ways, bringing the love of Jesus and the light of hope to hearts across Canada. Because when you show up, heaven moves and lives are changed. Every time you give, every time you pray, every time you share, you're making an eternal impact. You are vital. You are a vital part of this community. You belong here. And that's why we'd love to stay connected with you, right, Michelle?
Yeah, we would love to stay connected with you because this movement is so much more powerful when we walk it together. In just a moment, you'll see on the screen all the ways that you can stay engaged with us on social media, YouTube, and through our monthly newsletter. When you follow, like, and subscribe, you're not just staying informed, you're becoming a part of this movement that's spreading hope across Canada. So let's keep building something meaningful together because your connection helps to change lives.
Together, with you, we can keep spreading hope, changing lives, and reminding people everywhere that they are seen, loved, and never alone, because this movement isn't complete without you.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. And before we get into some of our interviews, we want to say that we're so glad you've chosen to join us today, right where you are. Whether you're watching from your phone, your TV, your computer, thank you for inviting Hope Channel Canada into your space. In just a moment, we'll show you some of the other ways you can tune in, just in case there's a platform that better fits your lifestyle or makes it easier to stay connected. We truly believe in the power of Christian media to touch hearts, to inspire hope, and share the love of Jesus across Canada. But this work isn't something we can carry alone. It takes all of us, praying, giving, and sharing together to keep this message going strong. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you for being a part of this movement. You matter to us and you matter to this movement.
Thank you so much for that, Michelle. I always enjoy getting these messages and hearing why people all over Canada support Hope Channel Canada. Today I want to share a message we received from Marcos Piazzi from Burlington, Ontario. He says, living with a mission means responding to God's love, promises, and salvation. Hope Channel Canada is a way to be blessed, bless others, and also be a missionary as well. I believe lives are being touched and homes are receiving salvation, just as mine was. It's a privilege to be a part of this movement. Wow, thank you so much for that, Marcos, for taking your time to share that with us. And yes, we hope that what we share touches your life in a positive way.
Absolutely, because your story matters and we would love to hear about it. What excites you about Hope Channel Canada? How has this ministry inspired or encouraged you? Your voice has a power to inspire others to step out in faith and become agents of hope in their own communities. So write to us at agentsofhope@hopetv.ca, or you can send us a DM on social media.
I want to share an interview that Michelle had with Brad and DeeAnna Dennis. They both have a background in social work and pastoral ministry for many years. Through their business, Toshi Hasha Consulting, they provide consultation, training, and coaching for First Nation governments and organizations seeking to reclaim and restore traditional ways of wellness. In ministry, Pastor Brad has helped churches and religious organizations in their process of healing through reconciliation with Indigenous communities.
Yes, and he is the director, creator, producer, and host of Journey Home Sanctuary film series. He's also the director of Journey Home Reconciliation Media Productions, which is a ministry of Chipotsaskundalahawi Reconciliation Society. DeeAnna also co-directs and co-hosts Journey Home Sanctuary film series. And most recently, they accepted the role of Indigenous Reconciliation Ministries Directors of the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Canada. And they are passionate about their marriage, their family, and being active in their community. So have a listen to what they had to share. All right, hello, Pastor Brad and DeeAnna. Thank you so much for joining us as our guests on Agents of Hope today. I would love to start our time together by having you share a little bit about your background and your story.
Yeah, my name is Brad Dennis. I'm Ho'it from the west coast of Vancouver Island. My Ho'it name is Kohonasat, which means from the place of the chiefs. I have 3 children. I'm married to my wife for the past 24 years. My children are ages 18, 16, and 11. I'm also a registered clinical social worker and have worked in social work for over 20 years and been in pastoring for the past 7 years.
And I'm DeeAnna Dennis, Brad's wife. And I'm originally from Southern California, Mexican on my father's side, Chicana on my mother's side, and homeschooling mom of our 3 children, and also working in supportive of Brad and
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And I know we had talked a little bit about the work that you're doing in your community and your ministry. And so I'd love for you to share a little bit about that and how you see it bringing hope to those around it.
Yeah, for the past 20 years, we've been in work in our profession, and God called us kind of back into ministry after for about 20 years. And so over the past several years, we've been working on Indigenous Reconciliation Ministry, primarily focused here in British Columbia. But just recently, as of March 1, we were called into the role as directors for Indigenous Reconciliation Ministries for the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Canada. And right now, the thing that we're passionate about is helping churches return to the spirit of the Church of the Acts. And for us, the way we've kind of framed it, using a contextualized word. It's not a word that typically Adventists are used, but the word is decolonization. And what that simply means for us is getting back into the Creator's original design for humanity and our community.
It's beautiful. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And you had mentioned several things you're passionate about. And I know we had talked about when we had a brief phone conversation about a project that you're working on called the Journey Home series. And I'd love if you could share a little bit about where that passion comes from and about that project there.
Yeah, the development of the Journey Home film series, Journey Home Sanctuary film series, it's our first, and it's focused on helping people, specifically our target audience is First Nations across Canada, to help people in the process of restoring, sorry, I'm just going to rewind there. Journey Home is a film series that is designed to help people in the journey of restoring their relationship with God. And it's really built from a place of contextualizing this story using the sanctuary and all the teachings that are in the sanctuary, but contextualized from Indigenous worldview. Specifically, Brad introduces each topic, going through each element in the sanctuary by beginning to share about cultural teachings that are related to the teachings of that element of the sanctuary and what they have to teach us about decolonizing our mind, body, spirit, and relationship. And that's really, again, like what Brad said, is helping people to heal and get back into our Creator's original design for humanity. We're really excited. It's a 10-part series. The first 5 are already completed, and episodes 6 to 10 we hope will be completed by the end of the summer. So it's been a long journey, but really exciting to be able to bring in a whole host of First Nations Adventists from across North America to share their stories of how they're doing it and how they're experiencing and expressing their faith through who they are as Indigenous people.
Beautiful. Do you want to add anything to that, Pastor Brad?
I think it's really important that everybody all around the world has a coherent opportunity to understand the gospel. Mm-hmm. And in North America, we're really interested in Indigenous people specifically being able to have a like I said, a coherent way of understanding the gospel and how it relates to them specifically. So many times people think that becoming a Christian means leaving who you are. And our cultural values are things like respect, love, honoring elders. We always pray after everything and before we do anything. And so those are our cultural things that I believe that we need to hold on to. And so this series, I'm really excited. We're all excited that people are going to be able to have an opportunity. We filmed in Texas, Haida, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, BC, Alberta, and we really tried to get a wide variety of people being engaged in this story and telling their own story about how their life and how their culture relates to the sanctuary. And David says, your way, O God, is in the sanctuary. And by bringing people, especially Indigenous people, right into the heart of where God's living room is, they can clearly see what the gospel message really is.
I love how you shared about that, to share that. And it reminds me of something Jesus did. He spoke in a way that the people of the time understood. The stories he used, it was very relatable. And I think that's great that we can make things simple for people and to have a context. And that's the beautiful part about being in Canada is there's such a diverse group of people and ultimately all united. And all of us, here at Hope Channel Canada too, we're talking about in Jesus, there's more to life and this beautiful message. So I would love to wrap up our conversation here, just asking if you have any parting words for those agents of hope who are watching, any words of encouragement or inspiration to share.
Yeah, we really encourage all churches, all individuals to learn what it means to get back into what the Church of the Acts originally had for us. That they can be part of healing that distorted image of God that we all have in some way, and really being able to see Him as our Creator God, and that we as Indigenous people, if given the Bible, the Holy Spirit will reveal all truth to us. And I'm excited about that. And so if anybody's interested in joining on that journey with us, we would love to hear from them and talk with them about how they can be a part of this amazing ministry.
Well, and thank you so much for joining us as Agents of Hope. And we're looking forward to encouraging your ministry and to pray for you. And so thank you again, and God bless the work you're doing.
Thank you so much for sharing, Brad and DeeAnna. It's great to get to know you a bit better and, some of the passions that you both have. Most importantly, thank you for joining us in this important work as Agents of Hope. I wanted to share a bit about a true agent of hope, Ken Forgach. He was born and grew up in Calgary and eventually obtained a biochemistry degree from the University of Calgary. He then moved to Edmonton and acquired a pharmaceutical science degree at the University of Edmonton. He's been working as a clinical pharmacist in the intensive care unit at a local hospital for the past 35 years. Ken has a lovely daughter, Kai, who lives in Washington State with her husband. Half of his time is devoted to his work at the hospital, and the other half is devoted to a variety of community service endeavors, some of which he has been doing for decades. I'm really looking forward to sharing the conversation that Michelle had with him.
It would be great if you could tell about some of your ministries within the community and how they are bringing hope to those people that are being impacted.
Sure. So I got 3 different things going on. Well, actually I have about 10 or 20 different things going on, but 3 major ones. I'll just highlight them. One is a long-term care center. I go to a couple of them once a month. I do a simple hymn sing thing, but it's much more than a hymn sing. It's transformed over the years into more of a chapel service. And so I give a sermon on a Sabbath morning, and we do some hymn singing at the same time. But it's actually a chapel service, more or less. Then I do prison, And last year I went to the EYOC, which for those who don't know, that's the Edmonton Young Offender Center. I was there twice a month, and I would do a chapel service in there. And I also do a lot on the street. I do what I call street kitchen. That's what I call it affectionately. And it's really simple. All I do is I load up my van with lots of goodies, lots of food, clothes, gear, whatever people need to survive out there. I drive down to where all the homeless folks hang out. I pull over to the side of the curb. I set up some tables around my van. And from those tables, I dole out soup and sandwiches and clothes and all sorts of things. And a whole bunch of other stuff too. And that's what I kind of want to talk about a little bit in a minute. About the street kitchen thing, I know and a lot of people are familiar with the whole idea of rolling downtown and handing out stuff. But while a lot of people do that, what I do is a little bit unique in that I try and bring some spirituality to the inner city, a little bit of light to an otherwise darkened corner of the world. And the way I do that is a number of ways. The obvious way is on my table, I have a bunch of tracts and Bibles that I just give away for free. I'm sure I've given away thousands of Bibles quite easily. I lost track of count. But I also do something called blessing pops. So I give away canned pop to people, and it's very popular. Everyone loves the canned, root beer or Pepsi or Coke or something like that. But every can I give out, and that's hundreds every Saturday afternoon, there's a message on there. It's got a Bible verse, and it's got a little commentary on that verse, something encouraging, or a short prayer, or something thought-provoking, something to do with drug addiction perhaps, something like that. Something that inspires them, encourages people. So there's that, and I give away thousands of those all year round. So that's a big thing. But what I'm really excited about is this. And this goes, let me just backtrack a little bit and answer a question that some people might ask is, what is my underlying philosophy? And I think this is really important for me to explain to people, and that is this. I go to all these different places, and I've worked in the healthcare industry for many, many years. And it's really obvious to me. I can't cure someone's multiple sclerosis. I can't cure someone's severed spinal cord. I can't do that. I can't go back in time and erase the mistakes people made, mistakes that led people to prison, for example. I can't give somebody a job. It's not something I can do. If someone loses a loved one, I can't restore that. All of those things, that's God's business. That's God's providence. That's what He does. But here's what I can do. I can deal with the loneliness and the despair that comes from all of those situations. I can deal with the hopelessness and the frustration that people feel day in and day out when they're stuck in a situation like that. And that's what I do. All those messages, they're geared towards that. The chapel ministries that I do in prison, and I do chapel ministries at 2 downtown churches as well. It's the same message, it's encouraging. And that's what I try and do. That's my basic thing here. But here's what I'm really excited about.
Yes, share with us.
So in prison, when I do a chapel service, while I'm speaking to the inmates, I give them a sheet of paper, and it's a special kind of sheet of paper. There's a picture on it. There's a Bible verse on it typically. And while I'm speaking, they color it in with all the felts that I give them. And then at the end of my talk, it was about 45 minutes or so, they end up with a nice picture. And they can take that, take it back to their cell, hang it on their wall, and then day after day, there it is. Every morning they could wake up, there's this encouraging message specifically for them. And so it's a really good thing. But the cool part is this. At the end of my sermon, many of them give back their pictures to me, like the extra ones, and I laminate them. And then I take them to the street and I put them in my boxes on the table. So when people come by to get their soup and sandwich, they pick up a Bible tract perhaps, but they'll also see these little pictures. And I have a few here. I don't know if I'm in the frame when I'm showing you this, but I have a bunch. And these are just a few of them. You'll see Bible, well, that's upside down. Well, here's a Bible verse. Great is the Lord. All these beautiful things. These are from prison. And so there's a nice commentary. There's a Bible verse on there. It's just really great. And so here's the beautiful thing about it. The people in prison were on the street at one time.
Mm-hmm.
And the people who are on street right now, they were in prison, many of them. So there's a nice circularity to it, a nice spiritual circularity to it. And in a way, it's struggling, marginalized people helping other struggling, marginalized people. And there's different ways of cutting this too. I mean, if you're stuck in prison, there's not a lot of really positive things going on in your life. But here's one thing. Now you're coloring a picture with a message on it, a solid, inspirational message that's going to the street. It's positive, it's constructive, and it goes a long way to helping them grow as an individual and helping them do something, real good for the world. So it helps them grow, and it fits in really well with the whole rehabilitation process. So I'm really happy about that. And the people on the street, they're thrilled to see someone that's coming from prison. And they see the people, they author it, they sign it. It's just a beautiful, nice circularity, as I said.
Thank you so much for joining us on Agents of Hope, Ken. We pray many blessings over your ministry, for the work that you do, and thanks for being an agent of hope in your community.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for sharing what you're doing in your community, Ken, and for continuing to be an agent of hope. We would love to hear from you and learn about what you're doing in your community so that we can continue to inspire other agents of hope. We invite you to share your story with us.
Absolutely. Send us an email at agentsofhope@hopetv.ca, or feel free to connect with us on social media so we can set up a time to hear your story and feature it in a future episode.
Absolutely, because when you share, you're not only celebrating what God is doing in your life, you're also helping others see how they too can make a difference in the lives of their family, their friends, and their neighbors.
Absolutely, because your story could be the spark that gives someone else the courage to believe, to hope, and to step into their God-given purpose.
Absolutely.
We cannot wait to hear from you.
Before we wrap up our time together, hopefully you can be encouraged by a devotional thought on reconciliation. In fact, it is at the very heart of the gospel. It's the story of a broken relationship between humanity and God being restored through the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. Paul writes in 2 Corinthians 5, verse 18, "All this is from God, who reconciled us to himself through Christ and gave us the ministry of reconciliation." Not only are we reconciled to God, but we are also called to be agents of reconciliation in a divided world. Biblical reconciliation goes beyond simply making peace. It involves restoration, forgiveness, and healing. It acknowledges the pain and brokenness, but chooses grace over bitterness. Colossians 3 verse 13 reminds us, "Bear with each other and forgive one another. Forgive as the Lord forgave you." Through Christ, walls of hostility are torn down. Whether between God and man or between people, reconciliation, guys, is a sacred work that reflects God's kingdom on earth. Today, is there someone you need to forgive? Is there a relationship that needs healing? Ask God for the courage to take that step. Reconciliation doesn't erase the past, but it can redeem it, turning pain into peace and division into unity.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that, Sam. It's always good to be reminded of God's forgiveness and reconciliation towards us and who we may need to be reconciled with. Because now more than ever, our world is in desperate need of God's love, and people like you and I who are willing to stand firm in faith and share the love of Jesus with those around them. You are the heartbeat of this movement.
Right, and this movement is a calling. It's full of hope and powered by ordinary people like you and I, choosing to live with extraordinary purpose, extraordinary compassion, and extraordinary courage. Your role in this story is not just important, it's essential.
Yeah, in every prayer you pray, every gift that you give,
That's right.
every step you take to show up, it all matters more than you may ever know. Lives are being changed, hearts are being healed, and hope is being restored because you said yes to being part of what God is doing. You are a light in someone's darkest moment. You are a voice of hope for someone who feels forgotten, and you are proof that God is still moving, He's still working, and He's still loving His people through His people.
And prayer? That's the very foundation of everything we do.
Yeah.
When you pray for this ministry, you are standing in the gap for souls across Canada, reminding them that they are seen, that they're known, and that they're deeply loved by God.
Yes, and thank you for believing in this movement. Thank you for walking alongside us in faith. And right now, if you feel God stirring something new in your heart, and if you're wondering what you might look like to step even further into this movement, we'd be honored to have you join us as a volunteer. So you can visit agentsofhope.ca to discover how your unique gifts, your time, and your story can bring hope to others in deeply personal and powerful ways.
Absolutely. And maybe you found yourself wondering, can my giving really make a difference? The answer is yes. People give to what moves their hearts, to causes that align with their values and their vision for a better world. And our hope is that as you experience the life-giving content on Hope Channel Canada, this ministry will find a special place in your heart too.
Absolutely. And because this is about so much more than media, it's about creating moments where people encounter the hope of Jesus, sometimes right when they need it most. Every gift, big or small, helps make that possible. Your generosity helps us to reach further, create more inspiring content, and provide a space where people from all walks of life can experience truth, hope, and love. Together with your prayers and your partnership, we continue to share this life-changing message all across Canada.
Hope starts with you, and together we can bring the hope of Jesus to more lives than ever before. We're so grateful for you. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you for your prayers, thank you for your generosity, and thank you for being a part of this beautiful, life-changing movement.
And to express our gratitude, right now with a minimum donation of $30, we're happy to send you a curated selection of Bible devotionals that we hope will enhance your personal study and encourage your heart. So once again, thank you for joining us as an Agent of Hope.
So please, donate online at agentsofhope.ca by debit, credit, Google Pay, or Apple Pay. You can also e-transfer us at agentsofhope@hopetv.ca or send a check payable to Hope Channel Canada at the following address: Hope Channel Canada, 1148 King Street East, Oshawa, Ontario, L1H1H8.
Lastly, if you prefer, please call 1-855-4-HOPE-TV. That's 1-855-446-7388. And before we wrap up our time together, I want to encourage you that if you're currently watching us on YouTube, to please like, comment, subscribe, and share with someone who needs this. We are all in this together. And we know that you're praying for us, and we also want to pray for you.
That's right. If you have any prayer requests, please contact us at agentsofhope@hopetv.ca or on social media.
Yes, and thank you. And remember, together, we can let Canada know that in Jesus, there's more to life.